Emmanuel, could you please speak about the healing that is required, needed in a family after a suicide?
Indeed, I can, and most willingly do. The first thing I would offer as a suggestion to you is this. Any sudden leaving of a beloved one seems to create a tear in the heart, an unexpected void in a human life, and therefore certainly an unexpected void within the familial configuration. But let that be all that it is. And when I say all that it is, I do not mean to minimize human pain and suffering, but neither, dear one, do I mean to laud it beyond its reality. I do indeed perceive things from a different viewpoint. I perceive them from the absolute, unassailable knowing that there is no such thing as death. The absolute, unassailable knowing that there is no such thing as death. That physical bodies are created, they are worn, and they are discarded. But the being, the consciousness, the angel that wore that body from beginning to end has never died, nor has never not been. And so when someone takes their own life, there is a great deal of pain that circles around the misconception that they have done a terrible thing to themselves. And I do not speak lightly of this, but you asked me, and so I am most pleased and honored to respond to you from my viewpoint, which is, of course, why you have asked me and why I have come. The return home, from my point of view, of anyone who has touched such a depth of despondency that they have decided they no longer want to remain in the adventure, in the journey, is not a thing of grief or punishment. There is no judgment here. Can you believe that? There is no judgment. That is why I offered you the homework to be consciously done, to perceive how frequently you imprison yourselves with self-judgment. There is no one else who has the power to limit you, only yourselves, and you do it endlessly. But here, beyond the veil of illusion, there is only welcome. No recrimination, no pointing back with authority designed to shame. You're home. Well, you say, when you're home, do you look back to say, perhaps I shouldn't have done that? No, you do not. No, you do not. No matter how your actions are judged on planet Earth, the moment you release yourself from the illusion, that's what you've done. You've released yourself from the illusion. Well, the questions come then thick and fast, do they not? Supposing you are a mass murderer. A mass murderer. Wrong, absolutely 150% wrong on the human planet. Yes, it is, absolutely. And if someone is in such darkness and despair, they must at all costs be stopped and put where they cannot harm themselves or anyone else ever again. But do they come home with a long list of grievances that they must then correct? No, they do not. They come with an awareness that they didn't bring the light, except perhaps for one glorious moment. And then, and I know what I'm going to say will disappoint you perhaps or shock you, if you are determined that there be the scales of justice hovering over all things, a moment of remembering transforms all acts of violence. It truly does. And yet that does not mean, and do hear this clearly, that while you are in the illusion, it does not mean you shrug your shoulders and say it doesn't matter what is done, because it matters absolutely what is done. And though that may appear to be a contradiction, I promise you it's not. And so, to return to your question, how do you heal the family? Remind them, yourself as well, that there is no such thing as death. Therefore, what is suicide? If there is no such thing as death, what is suicide? It is the taking of leave unexpectedly. And then there is, of course, the missing and the grieving for the absence of a beloved presence. But let it be no more than that. You will meet again. You will meet again. And this is a promise I make to you. Perhaps you have already done so. For when one leaves the physical earth is still available to the one who is freed. And so many, many times, indeed, inevitably, in one form or another, the deceased, as you have come to call it, is present, speaking, perhaps explaining, loving, always loving. And so, allow in the family a belief in communication, perhaps not to satisfy mind, but just to establish the absolute, unassailable fact that that being still exists, much beyond the pain and distortion that caused the act. And if there is proof needed, then make room for proof.